Hey there. If you're one of my 7 subscribers for some reason, then you'll know it's been a while. Sorry about that. Anyways, my Roblox account recently got terminated, so as a result, I lost basically all of my progress in every game I played on Roblox since 2015. So naturally, I started replaying some games, including Piggy's storyline, both Book 1 and Book 2, and even grinded for some abilities and traps in public servers. Now, I never usually cared much for any game mode other than player or player plus bot, but after being forced to grind a little to get some progress back in Piggy, I have a lot of opinions that I feel the need to share. So, in this video, I'm going to be ranking every game mode in Piggy from worst to best. Let's get into it.
Oh! Ew! Dude!
In last place, to absolutely nobody's surprise, Tag. When this game mode was first teased, I actually really liked the idea. Being able to play as a crawling trap was a really cool concept. So, when the game mode did release, it was pretty lackluster. Essentially, everybody save for one survivor becomes a tagger, and if said survivor is caught by a tagger, they swap places. The goal is to be that one survivor who escapes the map by any means necessary. Again, sounds like a cool concept, but why are the taggers so slow? It makes it pretty much impossible to catch anybody without camping behind a corner and waiting. Mr. Rye Guy, can't you just use traps? No, you can't. There's no abilities or traps in Tag, which I guess is sort of needed to be able to balance the game mode out. But still, it's just not fun, like, at all. If there's one thing I have to give credit for, it's the secret mousy skin that you can use in Tag. It's a nice little nod to when Minitoon was considering making a legless mousy skin. But, other than that, Tag is just absolute trash when it comes to Piggy's game modes. At the very least, just make the taggers faster, and the game mode would be alright at best. Yeah, it's not good. I wasn't exactly the fondest of Traitor before, but even though I put it at number 6, it's a decent game mode. Miles, like, over Tag, which is just... ugh. I mean, who wouldn't like Murder Mystery 2 as a Piggy game mode? Well, my friend, the problem lies in how easy it is to abuse either side. The whole gimmick of the game mode is to keep your traitor role a secret. But what's the point if you can just completely lock map progression by hogging an item? The survivors won't even be able to do anything because they can't unlock the gun safe without the item that you are gatekeeping. The only way for survivors to win at that point is to get Piggy to kill you, but that's just a stupid way of balancing the game mode. On the other hand, once survivors get the gun, there's literally zero punishment for shooting the wrong person. The gun not only has 2 bullets already loaded initially, but also doesn't harm the player if they shoot an innocent bystander. Instead, it opts to turn the shot player into a Piggy. This just encourages people to fire randomly until they kill the traitor, when it should be the opposite. There's also the fact that all people have to do to prove their innocence is use an ability, making it really easy to deduce who the traitor is. But unlike Tag, this game mode actually can be kind of fun. My favorite way of playing personally, if I'm chosen as the traitor, is to progress the map normally until I get to the exit. Then, I'll stab everyone in the back just out of the exit's reach. It's the ultimate betrayal! You also get double Piggy tokens if you escape as a traitor, and I kinda need those if you remember what I said previously.
What the hell are you doing here, pansy?
We're gonna break your legs, Joe.
I remember low-key hating infection back when everybody kept intentionally infecting themselves, but putting that aside, infection is actually pretty good. Granted, it can be really difficult for Piggy to catch anybody thanks to the lack of traps, but if you manage to infect at least one survivor, you don't need traps anymore. This game mode can be a nightmare for the survivors if the infected play their cards right, and the reason for that is that the infected are the traps. You could be running away from an infected, but then another one pops out from a corner to cut you off. One thing I would suggest is that maybe an additional bot spawns with the Piggy to help out in the early game, before maybe disappearing once the survivor gets infected. But other than that, infection is pretty solid. I don't really have much complaints about this mode. Fun fact, I found out as I was researching that there were actually plans to make stuns cure infected players, which would have been super cool to have in the game, but I guess it was just never added. I don't know. Maybe... Actually, I wonder what would have happened if, like, you shot the initial, like, person that was selected as Piggy. Like, would there just not be any more infected? Do the survivors just win? Maybe that's why it wasn't added. I don't know.
Oh God, they try to drown me in this hole! I cannot see!
Well, what do you know? Another game mode that involves a multitude of infected enemies, except this time it's just a bunch of dumb bots instead. In all seriousness, this game mode can be just as difficult as infection, if not more, since the longer the round goes, the more bots that spawn in. In a way, it's a real test of your map knowledge to be able to escape before things get too much to handle. I'd say it fixes an issue with Book 1 about how easy it is to avoid the bots, but I'll talk more on that later. I'd say that the biggest benefit to Swarm is that you get 45 Piggy tokens when escaping, which, again, I need the money. So yeah, great game mode all around. If I was ranking this a year ago, I'd probably put Bot below Infection, because I found it too easy. If you have a full lobby of competent players, the one bot on the map will be distracted by a survivor while everybody else completes it. However, this changed when I started playing through all the chapters again. Book 1 was still super easy, of course. It was only mildly difficult playing Plant since Mr. P has weird pathfinding. But other than that, not much of a challenge. When I got to Book 2, however, my thoughts about this game mode started to change a bit. It took me over 5 attempts to get the Savior ending in Factory. 5 attempts! It may not seem like much, but doing the math, that's almost an hour of trying to complete one chapter. And it's all because of how the bots work. Holy, by himself, doesn't pose much of a threat besides occasionally placing traps and chasing you, but if Willow finds you alongside him, it's genuinely difficult trying to get away from them. Whenever Willow shoots her gun, you're being stunned 90% of the time, and usually this is just enough time for Coley to take you out. I'd say this is where bot mode shines the most. Chapters that have unique bot gimmicks. Instead of just simply sidestepping the bot, now you'll have to worry about if they'll suddenly teleport next to you as you're unlocking an area. Now you need to check twice about if they'll ambush you from above. Now the bot is actually a threat. So if we're talking about bot mode in Book 1, then yeah, it's pretty boring. Bot mode in Book 2? Now we're getting somewhere. It's a pretty awesome game mode, and I highly recommend playing it solo if you haven't already, because that's, I'd say, the intended way of playing bot. With other players, well, it is still kind of easy, but, you know, it's pretty cool. I like it. I'm glad that I came around to it after so long of just finding it boring.
Oh, brother!
Player mode is literally the game mode besides bot. It's what let players use Piggy skins and traps in the first place, before the other game modes were added, of course. And while I love player mode a lot, it is undeniably flawed. This might be a hot take, so I'm gonna get this out of the way. I think that player mode can be both survivor-sided and Piggy-sided. There's a lot of traps that are literally unavoidable, and the Piggy can place them on top of items. And then before the abilities and the energy bar came to exist, Piggy used to be able to place traps in the air as well. Thank God that's fixed. Meanwhile, the survivors get to fight fire with fire because their abilities can be just as broken to the point they can negate any trap in the game. My point is, player mode is really unbalanced. It can be tiring as a survivor trying to avoid these absurdly powerful traps, but it can be even more annoying as Piggy trying to actually catch anybody. There needs to be changes to make the abilities and traps more fair. This goes without saying, there's also tons of bugs and glitches that affect the gameplay as well, which I'm just not going to get into. Even so, I still really like Player a lot, and over the years, my love for it hasn't really, like, waned. What the fuck am I saying? Clearly, Player plus Bot is the best game mode in Piggy. After all, it's in the name. It's two of the best game modes combined. How could you not love it? But seriously, Player plus Bot is so underrated. Please vote for it. Please, I'm begging.